idea that we had was that we were going to open up an entirely non-profit vegan diner where we'd serve delicious vegan food. So that's exactly where I am today. I'm in that 100% non-profit vegan diner.
The scam loop is very obvious. Money from Unity Diner allegedly going to Search, which is not even a registered company or charity. They had no intention of making it not for profit. Unity Diner was incorporated over a year ago. Ed had all the time to register it as a not-for-profit, which also gives them tax relief and deductions. If you were truly raising money for animal activism, you would be losing out having it as a private limited company. You would be hit with high corporation tax on the profits. No one is going to question Saintly Ed, the vegan Jesus.
I would. I'm vegan, but this is going to be the 7th video on this channel questioning the leadership of Earthling Ed. There are some other people who should have been doing some questioning. There are some other people who should have been doing some Google searches. Plant-Based News has a history you might know about. They have a history of accusing me of running a fundraising scam. They didn't do one Google search. They didn't even check my YouTube channel. They didn't talk to me. They just made that allegation publicly and reached tens of thousands of viewers with it. No apology, no retraction, never took responsibility. Plant-Based News, it would not have been very difficult for you to do the little bit of Google searching to look into the reality of what it was Earthling Ed had incorporated, the way this guy Bobby's Perspective did.
Since 2016, he had 3 years to register as a charity. On the Search Animal Activism homepage, which Ed Gaunt set up in 2016, we can see the donation button. On the donation page, as you can see, it claims the company is pursuing status as a UK registered charity. How contrived and convenient that they make that statement on the donations page. It takes, on average, 40 days to register as a charity in the UK. They have had 3 years to do this. Search is not even registered at Companies House. Therefore, there are no accounts available, no records, no way of knowing what the donations are used for. From just one Patreon page alone, he receives over $7,000 per month. Twigs and Grass Ltd is a private company. We can see on the Companies House register that Ed knows exactly what he's doing. Why is his girlfriend even a director and a shareholder? Total share capital is 100 shares. Ed has 25 shares, his girlfriend has 25 as well. Having half the company is indicative of them putting up half of the investment. This is highly likely, and his claim about a private investor is covering up them pocketing donation.
I do not know if old Bobby is intentionally lying and misleading the audience here, or if he is just trying to be a bit mysterious to make this documentary series last for 4, 5, or 6 parts. But he is strangely omitting to mention one more important name that appears on the paperwork for the registration of Ed's private for-profit company. Now, Bobby is correct. It is very significant that this is a private for-profit restaurant business. That's what it's registered as. That it's not a charity, that it's not even a business with other stated goals or mandates. However, inexplicably, Bobby fails to mention the name Andrew Crumpton. And what the paperwork shows is that there are a further 50 shares owned in the name of Andrew Crumpton. And if you Google around very briefly, you get various websites related to Andrew Crumpton being a senior food consultant at AMC Food Consulting, someone with a long history in the restaurant business, in the food services business, packaged food products business, And yes, indeed, this includes non-vegan food, outright meat products, packaged meat products of various kinds. But anyway, so he's a senior, experienced person in the food industry, and as he says, he has he's, quote, a pioneer in the food industry. He understands consumers and food businesses in equal measure, recognizing the gap in the market, and then trying to fill these gaps. Sorry, I'm no point in my reading out the hype here. But that is who Andrew Crumpton is. Now, the next thing that's peculiar is that you'll see Andrew Crumpton was appointed as director. And then shortly thereafter, this is all within the year 2018, shortly thereafter there was the termination of the appointment of Edward Gaunt as a director. And then shortly after that, the termination of the appointment of Lorna Node as a director. Then we get a confirmation statement with updates. Then, reversal of fortune, a termination of Andrew Crumpton, the appointment of Lorna Node, and then the appointment of Edward Gaunt. All within the year 2018. So it looks like the man who was the initial investor and consultant and who gave them guidance on setting up the organization, it doesn't seem that he's a mysterious person. It seems that you could just read his name off the form and Google him and find out who he was. But it does seem like there was a struggle to control the future of this company.
The idea that we had was that we were going to open up an entirely non-profit vegan diner. 100% non-profit vegan diner.
Other than that, guys, as far as I'm concerned for this video, it's a wrap. There's a huge, profound, fundamental difference between running a non-profit foundation and running a for-profit company. There's a huge difference between asking people to donate to a charity and asking people to invest in or support a business. And I'm sure Earthling Ed could have done any of these things. He could have done all of them simultaneously. But from what I can see, it looks like he was dishonest with the public. Maybe he was being dishonest with himself. He screwed up. I hope an apology is forthcoming. Ed, the fact that you made this mistake doesn't mean that you could never be an effective vegan activist again. Just like in Hollywood, people have a scandal. They knock the dust off their clothes, put on a new pair of shoes, and get right back into the business. I'm sure Earthling Ed could bounce back from this scandal, but I think the guy should demonstrate that he's now got a clue, that he's got a clear vision for what it is he's going to do in the future of the vegan movement. Running a restaurant is a 25-hour-a-day business. It takes every hour of the day you can put into it and then some. And that's why running a restaurant is an absolutely terrible combination with being a filmmaker, if Earthling Ed is going to be a filmmaker, running a non-for-profit advocacy group, doing outreach and education. I don't even know what this guy is trying to do. I don't know. He vaguely alludes to all the projects he dreamed of accomplishing, now having enough money to do them. Well, what are those projects? Is it filmmaking? Is it some kind of more palpable activism, lobbying, outreach and education? Whatever it is, define it. But the truth is, if this restaurant is going to operate, it's going to take absolutely all the time and energy that you possibly can put into it. And I say this with all due sympathy because I enrolled in baking college because I was going to become a vegan baker, run a vegan bakery, but I did so with the awareness the bakery itself would have to be my activism because all the energy and time I possibly have would go into that business. It's not like you can run the business on the side as a minor thing and then be doing all these other kinds of activism and outreach in addition to that. What's even worse though, and I've talked about this many times, I did videos you can check out estimating the costs involved. What's even worse is running an animal sanctuary. It seems like nobody wants to Google just how much it costs per year to keep one horse alive, how much it costs per year to keep one pig alive. It is very, very expensive. It is very, very time consuming. It's very, very resource intensive. And personally, I don't even think it's ethical. What people call a sanctuary is for the most part just a farm where the animals never get slaughtered, but they're kept in the same farm conditions that I would consider inhumane and unethical. They're not running around in the wilderness free. They're not really living like wild or feral animals. They're being kept as domesticated slaves in a farm, eating the same food, living on the same floor, being a plaything for human entertainment. They're still being exploited like farm animals. It's just a farm where the exploitation never ends, or it doesn't end until the animals die of old age, which also, by the way, when you look into it, is really, really expensive. If you're actually committed to providing hip replacement surgery for all of the pigs once they get old and their hips stop working. But look, even just the horses, having a veterinarian come to visit horses. Look, you'll see why owning racehorses is a rich man's game. Just running a sanctuary farm would take absolutely all the money you could put into it, absolutely all the time you could put into it, and probably Earthling had made these commitments without even doing a Google search, the same way all you fools, including Plant-Based News, supported Earthling Ed without even doing the Google search that Bobby's Perspective did.
I mean, really. People like to disrespect my crew, but the fact is that you know my name and I don't know you.